Hey everyone, Jordan Miller here with Run to Gun, dropping in this morning. Going to be talking a little bit about some training techniques, specifically a hot topic, definitely in the hunting world when it comes to training for a hunt. Now, one of the most popular ways guys get ready for a hunt is heavy pack training, and this is a great way to actually start getting in shape. But what I want to talk about today is a little bit more of why heavy pack training alone isn't enough. So we see a lot of guys just saying, hey, just load up your pack, put 40, put 60, put 80 pounds on it, and start hiking and get ready for the mountain. Now, if this is the only form of exercise you're able to do or to get in before a hunt, obviously this is better than not doing anything, in that it will physically work on your endurance, and get your body a little bit accustomed to having a load on your back. But there's still a better way to work on overall fitness, strength, endurance, mobility, and health. And I want to go into a few of those reasons why heavy pack training or ruck training isn't enough, and that why you should be doing more. So specifically, reason number one is that heavy pack training doesn't train our imbalances specifically. Most of us as individuals have certain imbalances in our bodies that you can actually get better and minimize by training and by doing specific training methods. So it's not abnormal for somebody to have one leg that's a little bit weaker, or a glute that isn't firing, that's causing some issues. It might be causing some back pain. All these things can be targeted by doing specific exercises. There is exercises that work really well that you can use to get your glutes to fire better. There is exercises that you can do to get both legs evened out so they're both firing really well, and not causing an imbalance in the spine, and making your back feel better. So that's actually a really heavy reason, and I've seen this so prevalent in clients over the last 7 or 8 years, that they have some imbalances that we need to work on, and they're pretty easily corrected through specific exercise. You're not going to get that by just putting a 50-pound pack on and hiking. And so that's why I think you should look a little bit further into some specific exercise movements. The second reason is that it doesn't train all of your muscles, full body, in full range of motions. Granted, do not underestimate the power of just walking, speed walking, for overall health, healthy heart, cardiovascular health. This is awesome. I'm definitely not telling you not to go heavy pack train. I'm just trying to convince you that it's not enough and you should be doing some more. And so what I mean by not working the muscles in full range of motions is that use like a unilateral shoulder press by incident. You're locked in with a dumbbell, one side. Your core has to work those to stay upright, to not have an imbalance one way or the other. We talked about that in the last reason, not having any imbalances. And so just the lack of not being able to train unilaterally and get those full range of motions, even in like a pull-up, a push-up, a deadlift, an RDL, any of those things. Yes, you can do a pull-up with a weighted pack. Yes, you can do a push-up with a weighted pack. But the overall amount of people to be able to do a pull-up with 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 pounds on their back and actually get in an ample amount of reps to benefit is minimal. Now, some trained athletes, for sure, we're going to be seeing that. Now, obviously, you can start a lot lighter and build up. I get that. And I'm sure I'm going to get into that a little bit. That it doesn't, a third reason is that it doesn't, it just really lacks variation over the long term. And what I mean by this is that exercise regimens should have periodization over time. Now with that, what I mean by that is periodization means that your program is changing and adjusting throughout the year over certain week periods. I'll adjust my periodization every 8-ish weeks for myself. If you're not a trained individual, we can extend that a little bit longer, 12, 16 weeks before seeing changes. The more trained the athlete, you can go down to 3 to 4 to 8 weeks on periodization changes. Now, within those periodization changes, you're getting different benefits. Okay, so you're getting hypertrophy, which is muscle growth. So you're lifting in specific rep ranges to promote muscle growth within the body. Okay, the reason why this is so important is as we age, even as if you're out on the mountain for a long time and your exercise level is very high, but your caloric intake is much lower, your muscles can atrophy, which means they diminish. And that's also common as we age. So training specifically for hypertrophy is very important to keep from having imbalances, to have great skeletal muscle mass on our frame, which in turns makes us healthier individuals. We are more capable and efficient in burning fat because our metabolisms are much higher when we have a higher skeletal muscle mass. So that's such a big reason, and you're not going to get that out of just heavy pack training. It really only targets one style of training, and that's, for the most part, endurance, which is a key component of getting ready for a hunt. But you can still do this with other styles of training as well. And when you're only training endurance, it's just one part of the hunt. We need muscular strength to get through a long hunt as well, to be hiking up mountains and hills, to be less sore and have faster recovery when we're returning from the mountain. Basically, with that only one style of training, you're not getting the strength training you really need. Now, if you're an untrained individual, you will see some strength improvements just because you haven't loaded the body and having an overload of weight on the muscle. So you're going to see some strength gains if you've never done this before. But if you're a trained individual, that strength gain is very limited. And even for the untrained individual, you're only going to see strength increases for so long. Whereas if you were to periodize your training with some weight training, some circuit training, you can continually see that. So let's get into the next one, the fourth reason. It really just lacks mobility and incorporation through specific exercise. Another key thing as we're getting older is not skipping over our mobility exercises. It's hard to hit that with just pack training. It's usually not incorporated in somebody's program with the pack training. They're just specifically going out and pack training. You're putting in miles, you're rucking, you're putting weight on your back. And that can actually cause some mobility issues right there as well. By not doing enough pulling, our bodies, we do so much pushing overhead, forward, and by just having a heavy pack on, a lot of times you're going to see slouched shoulders. Within most really good training programs, you're going to see a lot of pulling motions, okay? And this is to strengthen our posterior chain. Now, you can argue that putting a pack on will strengthen your posterior chain, and it will to an extent, but we still need more pulling movements within our entire exercise program. It also isn't just going to help with our hip flexor tightness. It actually might cause more hip flexor tightness and IT band tightness. And so those are things that we need to be targeting through a specific exercise regimen, is having better hip flexors. That's going to be important as we're hiking, okay? Not losing mobility, but gaining mobility in those regions and then strengthening those regions as well. If you have shoulder issues, tight shoulders, tight lats, which are causing inhibited movements overhead, our shoulders are so important because we're moving them in all directions in our daily life. They're one of the only joints that have that style of movement in our body, and keeping those mobile and targeting those with specific mobility exercises and strengthening exercises is key, that you're not going to get just from throwing a heavy pack on. Too much of one thing obviously is never a good thing, and that just goes with weight training too. If you're just weight training and circuit training without mobility, that's not a good thing either. So this needs to be incorporated, whether you're pack training, your circuit training, your weightlifting, it needs to be incorporated in all of those things. And of course, as we're aging, just overall bone health, bone density comes from loading weight onto our muscles, onto our skeletal system. We build density in those bones by moving weight, resistant training. We need resistance training in our life, moving dumbbells, moving barbells, working on that core strength and that posture throughout. Takes specific targeting exercises to do those things within a circuit to full body strengthen. So what I'm really trying to get at here, guys, is I don't want you to burn yourself out on just one style of training. If you're just pack training, chances are you're not going to be pack training throughout the entire year. So what are you doing outside of that? Are you just pack training for a month, getting into a hunt, and then letting it be? Well, that shouldn't be our overall goal either, right? We should be doing this to sustain a healthy lifestyle forever, for our life, so we can live a longer, healthier life, so we can hunt well into our older age with our grandkids, or just alone if you don't have grandkids. And so think past just the upcoming hunt in a month or in 2 months, and think about how you can be a healthier individual, a better individual, a stronger individual mentally and physically, from getting outside the realm of just one style of training, and look for that overall holistic look on how can I make my body perform at its best, feel at its best, prevent injury, and have a lot of fun with it as well. I think your chances of increasing a sustainable exercise program well into the future will definitely increase by following this type of method, by not just looking at, hey, throwing 50 pounds in the pack and going out and hiking. There's just more efficient, funner, better ways to accomplish overall health and strength. Now, if you just love going out and hiking, if you just love getting out and throwing a heavy pack on, definitely keep doing that. It's way better than not exercising at all. Don't want to discourage you with some of these things we talked about today that will help your overall health and will help your overall strength and mobility. But if the only style of training you're getting in is pack training, you should still be doing that. Just remember, I encourage you to seek out just some additional things to help your overall strength and your health and your mobility, so you can live a longer, sustained life, moving well, enjoying exercise, enjoying the outdoors to the best of your abilities. I hope that just sparked a little bit of thought in your guys' minds today on what you should be looking for and what you should be doing, prepping for your next hunt, and then far, far beyond that, just living a healthy lifestyle. So thanks for tuning in today, you guys. Go move today, get some exercise in, have some fun, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.